On this week's episode of We'll Talk Back, we discuss interpersonal motivational skills.
Motivational Monday. What would you write to yourself 10 years ago? And what would you write to your future self 10 years from now? Tune in, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment or a thumbs down. Thank you.
Welcome to this episode of We'll Talk Back. As always, I'm your lovely host, Rowan, here with my beautiful co-host,
Marsha.
And on today's episode, we want to discuss motivation. And in this particular motivation, it is going to be a interpersonal self-exercise. So to get us started, I was having a conversation with regular friends of mine, and a lot of times, we said, if we knew. Now, if we knew that the sun would come tomorrow, would we wear appropriate clothing? If we know it was going to rain tomorrow, would we bring an umbrella? That got me to think about our own individual life on a full spectrum, and I asked myself, as you asked you, if you had the ability to speak to yourself 10 years younger, what would you say? What would you change? What would you let them know? And on that same note, if you have the ability to send a message to your future self 10 years from now, what would you say? What would you do? What would you tell them? We've discussed this, and I've asked you, what would you say to 10 years ago, Marsha?
10 years ago, Marsha, I would say, you're too busy. And that's fine, but take some time to find an outlet and better your health. And that outlet could be finding something that you like, that is takes you away from the hustle and bustle of life. I would also say that although there are struggles, you're still moving forward. Because sometimes when you're in the struggle, you don't see that you're moving. Now the current Marsha see how she's moved forward through those struggles and grew. I think Marsha, 10 years from now, if I could write to that person or looking back, I would see that my health is thankful for the changes that I make and that I continue to make. And that as I'm moving forward and growing, there's different chapters happening and nothing is permanent. It's forever changing. And that's it. And I gave a lot of thought to this because it's a hard question.
It's a very hard question.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought about it in stages. So 10 years ago, Rowan was a very sad, meek, lonely individual. I know it's hard to believe. I cried every day and every night, and I wonder when it would end. So currently, if I would write a message to 10 years ago me, I would say, your crying is not in vain. Your hurt, your heartache, the heavy wounds and burden that you carry, they're simply and only temporary. The sun does rise tomorrow, and as the sun rises, starts a new day. And with a new day comes new opportunity. Don't ever bring yesterday's misery to today's opportunity. Look at those around you, look at those beside you, and look at those in front of you. Because as they are today, they will not be tomorrow. Pick those you wish to carry with you and hold on tight to them.
Wow, that's amazing. Can I redo mine? No, because what I said is reflective of me, but wow, that's touching.
If I had an opportunity to speak to future me, I will say, do not ever do anything to make another person, individual, job, or anyone happy. Do everything for yourself. Love you. Do not get caught up in social aspects of things. Do not march because you feel you have to. March because you want to. Do not run a marathon because you're told you have to. Do it because you simply want to. 10 years ago, 10 years from now, I would simply say, enjoy the position that you're in because you achieved it at a cost that no one paid for you, but you paid it for yourself. And it is okay for you to enjoy it.
Wow, that is deep. Can I add something or it's too late?
No, you can.
When I think back to myself 10 years ago, I think I was torn between conforming and being me, which is not a conformist by any means, but it was more comfortable. And as time, and it was, I was making courageous decisions,
Mm-hmm.
and I was brave in some things, some areas, but
Mm-hmm.
not in others.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my future self, I would see where I freed myself of
Mm-hmm.
all that conformity. And one of those things is just doing the show. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
someone saw me 10 years ago and they see me now, it's like, what is she doing? This girl talks? But it's just going forward with that,
Yes.
because that is who I am, and
Yes.
being pleased and being feeling accomplished
Yes.
in what I need to do.
And the reason why I wanted to bring this topic to you, my lovely viewers, is at times we wake up in the morning and we look for outside influences to make us happy. True happiness comes from within. That
Mm-hmm.
comes from inside. And only you can do that. At times it is hard for us to even motivate ourselves. But any time in which you find a blockage, stop and think 10 years backwards, 10 years forward.
Mm-hmm.
And at that exact moment, picture where you were and where you are now, and you'll be able to break through that barrier. And then think 10 years into the future of where you want to be, and you start working on that. I
Mm-hmm.
will let you guys know we all have struggles.
Oh
Every
yeah.
single person.
Oh yeah.
It's the everyday thing where they say the outside may be clean, but the inside is very filthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is hard to simply get out of bed some morning, but yet we come to work with our coffee in our hand, with a smile on our face, and we say good
Yeah.
morning,
Yeah.
while we go into the bathroom and we cry by 9:15.
Oh.
But
You can't let your struggles cripple you, though. And that's why I said,
exactly,
when you look back, you see that they were struggles, but you were still moving forward. I think,
absolutely.
oftentimes we could get so crippled by our struggles that
Hmm.
we don't want to look 10 years from now, we're still in the same spot.
And what you're saying is real.
Mm-hmm.
Your struggle of a marriage, a
Mm-hmm.
divorce,
Mm-hmm.
of children, of
Mm-hmm.
a miscarriage,
Mm-hmm.
of poverty, of racism, of
Mm-hmm.
feminism,
Mm-hmm.
of xenophobia, all those, while it might not be felt, it is seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I and Marsha, we understand.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't judge anyone. We love everyone. And if you come across us, feel free to give us a hug and we will reciprocate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I took your words.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Keep fighting. Stay motivated. And if you have any motivational tips or thoughts or even quotes, please leave it in our comment section.
And as always, continue being the best you that you can. Every morning, strive for happiness, strive for joy. And if that's still boring, you can always try being me.
Guard your heart, because everything you do flows from it. Until next time.